Thanks, Mike. I appreciate the kind introduction. I am a proud graduate of 10. The reason I'm a proud graduate of 10 is someone made me go there. When Rick Richmond saw my project, I knew him as a friend, he saw what I was doing, he said, wow, this product looks great. And then he looked at me, he goes, you need a little work. Well, the 10 program gave me all the information I needed to put together a business that I didn't know. And believe me, there's a lot I didn't know. So I'm very thankful to be part of the 10 program. So basically, what you're about to see is the product of a good idea, great mentorship, and excellent training through the 10 program. So let's talk about Turbet Surgical. We created a container that holds all the instrumentation needed for a single surgery. Now, this is very different than the current process, which is to handle the multitude of trays individually. And what ends up happening is we consolidate the steps. And if we can solve the problems of the time that it takes to prepare the instruments, and more importantly, the process of delivering those instruments onto the sterile table in the operating room, we can save the hospital a lot of time and money. Now, every time the hospital uses our container, we sell a disposable single-use filter cartridge, so we have a source of recurring revenue. To put this project together, I've mentioned my chairman, Rick Richmond. Along with that, the surgeons that we initially spoke to were so excited about this, they not only wanted to invest, but they also wanted to be part of our board to help bring this product to market. So this is the problem. It's a series of containers, whether they're wrapped in a sterile, in a paper wrap that the steam can penetrate, or the individual rigid containers, the small metal ones. In both of these scenarios, all the trays have to be handled individually. Now, that was fine when we were just using 1 or 2 trays for surgery, but in today's marketplace, we're routinely using somewhere between 10 and 15 trays. This is a snapshot of what an operating room looks like when they're preparing these trays and delivering them to the sterile field. You can see the surgical tech that's holding that tray up in the air, holding it there while the wrap that it came in gets inspected for any holes or tears. And should there be a hole or tear, that tray has to get rejected and it has to get reprocessed, or another one needs to be found. What that means is that 4% to 17% of the time, a hole is reported. And if you look at a hospital that's basically processing 10,000 trays per month, that's a big problem and it's an expensive problem. The other issue is this. It takes a couple people to open up this tray in the operating room, and if you look, there's a whole lot of waste. There's the outer wrap, there's the outer tray, there's the lid, there's all these things that we don't even want that were put on in sterile processing that never even make it to the sterile field. The only thing we want is the final tray that's in the center there. So the question is, what happens is if we get rid of all that junk? We don't want it anyways. What happens if we just put everything into one large container? You get this. It's probably the least technical device that you're going to see today. It's a big box. But because of its simplicity, it makes it a wonderful solution to an expensive problem. We place just the trays in it that we want for the surgery. We place our filter cartridge right into the front door, and then the front door goes on the very front there where it's vented and allows the steam to penetrate. We work with the hospital's existing equipment. The difference is this. Instead of it being a 2-person process that takes roughly 15 minutes to open up an operating room, it's 1 person, and it takes about 1.5 minutes. The national average for operating room time is $100 per minute. We're saving that hospital $1,300 by using this system compared to the current method. Because of the excitement over this sort of thing, we did spend some time filing patents for this, not just in the US, but abroad as well. And there is competition out there, but the biggest competition that we have is actually the current process, which has been around for the 30 to 40 years. And so educating people and getting them to understand the savings that they receive by using our cabinet is the biggest challenge that we face. So we also, we're set up as a contract manufacturer as a business, which is a nice way of saying that we pay other people to do the work for us. But it also means that we can run a very lean operation. I can tell you that the Turbet Surgical headquarters is about 8 foot by 8 foot. It has a door. Someday we might have a window. But it lets us run a very lean operation. What we do have is an excellent independent sales force. And these are representatives who have been working in the operating room for the past 20 years, who understand the people to contact and understand the pain and trouble that all these trays have created over the years. Our target is very simple. There's 10,000 locations in the US. That seems like a big number, but quite frankly, that's a very small target. The nice part about it, though, is that those 10,000 hospitals are doing enough surgeries to turn this into a $4 billion market annually. They do a lot of surgeries. So the exciting part for us is that we received our FDA clearance back in January. That was after only being in existence for about 24 months. So people are pretty thrilled with that. We received the FDA clearance about 6 months earlier than anticipated. And on top of that, we've got local manufacturers for doing our metal work as well as our filters. And the nice part about that is that lets us keep, on top of supporting the local economy, it also lets us keep tighter control on our QA system. So we've been to the industry meetings already. We have our representatives that are following up on leads from those meetings, and we're this is a very happy position for us to be in. So our marketing program is basically direct mail. We have some electronic media. We have a pretty good website. I love organic growth, though. So anything that you can do to help out would be appreciated. If you have friends, family, anyone that works in the hospital environment, please spread the word about Turbet Surgical. Also, we are in the middle of a fundraise, but I can't tell you how fortunate I am that most of it is being handled right within our group. The surgeons have loved what we've been doing, and we've been progressing so well that they've been reinvesting into this. If there is anything left over in this fundraise, it will become open on the 20th. And if you are interested in this sort of thing, then please talk to Rick Richmond or myself. So basically, what you see is a very simple solution to a very big, expensive problem. And I'd like to thank you and thank the 10 Network for helping bring this together.